dial to the greener grass, searching for the uncertain haze.
A father swipes his card at a grocery store. The machine pauses. Approved. He exhales. A woman opens her banking app. After payday, 3 automatic payments hit within seconds. Rent, insurance, utilities. Half the paycheck is already gone. A young couple sits at a kitchen table. They're discussing whether they can afford a weekend trip. The answer is no, yet again. And a retired couple is studying prescription costs. A student checks a credit card balance, and a worker opens a utility bill and immediately shakes their head. These are things affecting Americans every single day. A few years ago, many Americans believed that if they worked hard, got a raise, and stayed responsible with money, life would gradually get easier. Instead, millions are experiencing the opposite. They earn more than they did 5 years ago, yet somehow they feel poorer. The paycheck is bigger, but the bank account is smaller. The raise arrived, but the breathing room never did. And that's the mystery we're solving today. Because this isn't just a story about inflation. It's a story about why so many Americans feel like they're running faster than ever just to stay in the same place. Imagine receiving a raise. 3%, maybe 4, maybe even 5. You celebrate, yay! You feel like you're moving forward. Then life happens. The electric bill is higher, auto insurance rates renew at a higher rate, grocery costs more, the kids need clothes, healthcare deductions increase. Suddenly, that raise that you got, it disappears. Not because you spent recklessly, because the cost of maintaining the exact same lifestyle increased faster than you expected. For millions of Americans, that's the story of the last 5 years. Not getting richer, it's trying not to fall behind. The average American doesn't calculate inflation. They calculate dinner. Can we afford steak? Should we buy chicken instead? Do we switch brands? Do we skip snacks this week? Can we stretch this food until payday? Those are the real inflation measurements happening across America. Not in Washington, not on Wall Street, at kitchen tables every single week. The biggest problem for many households isn't just one giant expense. It's 6 medium-sized expenses: electricity, water, internet, cell phones, insurance, and groceries. None of them individually seem catastrophic, but together, they're consuming a larger share of the household budget than they did just a few years ago. And unlike discretionary spending, these aren't luxuries. These are the bills people must pay before they can think about anything else. For decades, many Americans followed a simple formula: work, save, buy a home, take a vacation occasionally, build something better than the generation before. Today, many families still believe in that formula, but increasingly, they feel the math isn't working. They're employed, they're working hard, they're doing what they were told to do, yet major purchases feel further away. First homes, new vehicles, family vacations, college savings, emergency funds. Things that once felt normal now feel like financial milestones. And that's creating a growing sense of frustration, not because people expect luxury, because they're struggling to maintain normalcy. Most Americans did receive raises. The problem wasn't the raise. The problem was timing. Prices moved first. Paychecks moved later. For years, families absorbed the difference. Credit cards filled the gap. Second jobs filled the gap. Stress filled the gap. Then wages finally began catching up. But by then, Many households had already spent years adjusting to a more expensive reality. That's why statistics can show improvement while people still feel squeezed. The recovery arrived, the financial scars stayed. One of the biggest costs facing Americans isn't paid at the grocery store. It isn't paid at the gas station. It's deducted before many workers even see their paycheck. Health insurance. Premium increases, deductibles, co-pays, prescription costs. The result is a hidden squeeze. Many workers receive raises and never fully experience them because rising healthcare expenses absorb part of the gain before it reaches their bank account. So ask Americans how they're doing financially, and many won't say they're in crisis. They'll say they're exhausted. Exhausted from budgeting, exhausted from comparing prices, exhausted from watching bills rise, exhausted from constantly adjusting. That's the overlooked cost of the last several years. Not just financial pressure, mental pressure. The feeling that every purchase requires more thought than it used to. The story of the last 6 years isn't really about inflation. It's about adaptation. Millions of Americans adapted. They changed shopping habits, delayed purchases, canceled subscriptions, postponed vacations, worked extra hours, took second jobs, reduced spending, adjusted expectations. They did everything economists say people do when prices raise. And many are still doing it. And that's why this story matters. Because behind every economic statistic is a real person making real decisions. A parent deciding whether to fill the gas tank today or wait until payday. A retiree stretching a fixed income. A young couple delaying homeownership. A worker wondering why a raise didn't feel like progress. The numbers tell us inflation has cooled, and that's important. But for millions of Americans, the real question was never, what is the inflation rate? The real question was, why does life still feel harder than it used to? The answer isn't one thing. It's groceries, utilities, insurance, healthcare, housing, and energy. And years of higher costs accumulating faster than most household budgets can keep up. The good news is that many of the extreme inflation pressure that defined 2022 has eased. The challenge is that household budgets don't recover overnight. Families remember the years they spent falling behind. Those memories shape how they experience the economy today. Because economics isn't just a number, it's the reality people live every day. It's the choices they make, the sacrifices they make, plans they postpone, and the hope that someday that paycheck will finally feel like it's getting ahead again. And that's where we'll leave it for today, not with a debate about statistics, but a simple reality. For millions of Americans, life became more expensive faster than their paychecks could keep up. And understanding why that happened is the first step toward understanding where we go from here. I'm Charles, and until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep following the money.